bem. Estamos ao vivo em mais uma atividade da orientação espiritual com crianças e jovens na União do Vegetal.
This is Messi Almir Nahas. We are now
grata
live
satisfação
for
estar
another
aqui
activity of the
nesse
spiritual
dia,
orientation for children and youth, and
realizando
it's a
essa
great satisfaction to
atividade
be here
com o
holding this
objetivo de
activity with the
homenagear
objective of
todas as
paying
mães
tribute
dessa nossa
to
União do Vegetal.
all of the mothers of
E
our União do
nós
Vegetal.
elegemos o tema de
And
hoje,
we
Amor de Mãe.
decided to have this theme for the live stream today, the mother's love, amor de mãe, mother's
a melhor
love.
possibilidade para nós desenvolvermos esse tema.
And we thought, what
nesse
is
dia
the
de
greatest
hoje.
way for us to be able to
Então,
develop this theme for
nós
this
convidamos
live stream
a
today?
conselheira
So we
Jandira
invited Conselheira
para
Jandira
conversar com a gente a respeito desse
to
assunto.
speak with us about this topic.
Sabedores, né? Pelo menos a maioria de nós que estamos aqui
And we all know,
acompanhando esse
especially
trabalho,
most of us that are here who are
sabemos
accompanying this work,
da
we
grande
know
importância
of the great
do
importance
mestre Gabriel ter criado,
that
recriado a União
of
do
Mestre
Vegetal
Gabriel having
junto com sua
created,
família.
recreated the União do Vegetal
E
together
na
with
sua
his family.
família,
And within
damos
his family,
destaque bem especial
we
para a sua
can
esposa, companheira de
highlight,
tantos
give this
tempos,
special attention to
a mestre
his
Pequenina,
companion, his wife of so many years,
que
Mestre
deu
Pequenina,
continuidade ao
who
trabalho
continued the
de
work
implantar as bases da
of
União do Vegetal.
planting the foundations of the
É
União
uma
do
das
Vegetal.
principais responsáveis
And
para hoje
she
nós
is one of the
termos
main people who are
o que nós
responsible
temos
for what
dentro
we
desse
have
nosso
today
centro espírita.
within our
Então, para
spiritist
mim é
center.
uma honra estar hoje
So for me,
recebendo aqui a
it is an
conselheira
honor to be
Jandira.
able to be
Eu quero
here with
também
Conselheira Jandira.
agradecer ao
And I also
mestre
want to
Marcelo Pinheiro,
express my
mestre
gratitude
central
to
da
Mestre
8ª
Marcelo
região,
Pinheiro, who's the
porque
central mestre of the
eles
8th
tinham
region,
tido o
because
mesmo pensamento de,
the 8th
nessa
region,
data
they
de
had the
hoje,
same thought
fazer uma atividade voltada para a 8ª
to have
região
this
com a conselheira
activity
Jandira.
for the 8th
E
region with
eles abriram
Conselheira
mão
Jandira.
dessa atividade para
And
beneficiar toda a União do
they
Vegetal.
decided to give
Então,
up
a
on
nossa
their idea of
gratidão
having it just
também
for
aos
their region
irmãos
in
da
order for it to
8ª,
benefit the
em
entire
especial
União do
mestre
Vegetal. So for
Marcelo,
this
nosso
generosity
amigo,
of the 8th
pela
region of being willing to have
generosidade.
this activity be for the
Tá?
whole União do
E
Vegetal,
quero
we're grateful for your
agradecer também ao
generosity.
Alexandre,
And I
ao
also want to
conselheiro
express my
Jonas, ao
gratitude
mestre
to Alexandre,
Rodrigo,
Conselheiro
por todo
Jonas,
o
Mestre
apoio,
Rodrigo,
também
for
a
all of the
todo o
technical support,
pessoal da
as
primeira
well as
região, na pessoa
to
do
everyone
conselheiro
within the
Walter, que é o
first
coordenador do
region,
DMC,
especially
da primeira
Mestre Walter,
região,
who is the coordinator of the
que
DMC
viabilizaram
in the first region,
juntos, esforço bem legal,
who
bem
did some work
da gente estar fazendo
together
essa
for us to be able
transmissão
to
ao vivo
have
com a
this live
conselheira
transmission
Jandira
with Conselheira
estar nos
Jandira
recebendo nesse lugar tão
in
especial
this
para a União do
place that is so
Vegetal.
special for the União do Vegetal.
E
They
eu
made
vou
it
deixar
possible for
que
this
ela fale quando
event to
ela
take place
quiser a
in this
respeito
location.
disso.
And she's going to
Então,
speak about this special
inicialmente,
location where she
conselheira
is.
Jandira, a senhora e a
So,
todas
especially to Conselheira
as mães,
Jandira, to
feliz Dia
you,
das
ma'am,
Mães,
and
nossa
also to all the
gratidão por nos
mothers, Happy
receber.
Mother's Day,
E eu quero
our gratitude
ouvir suas
for receiving
palavras
us all here,
iniciais, sua
and
saudação,
looking forward
sabendo
to
que esse
hearing
material está sendo
your
transmitido ao
opening
vivo e
words, your
normalmente é
greetings,
acompanhado por
knowing that
milhares de pessoas da União.
this
E
work is being,
depois
this
fica
live stream is being accompanied
gravado
by,
lá e muito
these
mais
lives are
pessoas
usually
irão
accompanied
assistir
by
ao longo
several
dos
thousand
tempos.
people, and then there's people who
Então,
continue
muito
to
bom
watch it over
estar com a
time.
senhora
So it's really good to
e
be able to be here
quero
with
passar
you,
a
ma'am,
palavra para a senhora
speaking to Conselheira
começar
Jandira.
o
And so
nossa conversa
I'm
hoje, por favor.
introducing Conselheira Jandira to begin our conversation today.
Principalmente as mães.
Good evening to everyone. This is now Conselheira Jandira speaking. Good evening to everyone. Thank you to Messi Almir and to everyone who is watching. For me, it is a great satisfaction for me to be able in this moment to share this mother's love, the love of a mother, with all the mothers and with all of our children. And so for me, it's a great joy. I'm grateful to God and to the Mestre. I'm grateful to Mestre Pequenina and to all of my family. And to my children, my grandchildren, my husband, all of our relatives of our family within the Gabriel family, grateful to everyone. And gratitude to this team who's helping us out to be able to have this be a successful event and giving their best to be able to make this possible for our whole Irmandade.
Sim, senhora. queria ouvir o conselheiro Walter, coordenador
So Messi Almir is speaking once again,
da primeira região.
saying that we're going to hear briefly from Messi Walter, who's the coordinator of the First Region's Department of Memory and Communication. So now this is Messi Walter speaking. Good evening to everyone. Especially greeting all of the mothers of the União do Vegetal. I speak here on behalf of the DMC of the First Region and also the coordination of the First Region's, the coordination of the spiritual orientation for the First Region. And Messi Almir Mr. Almir had spoken with me recently about organizing this event to be able to have this event paying tribute and homage to all of the mothers of the União do Vegetal through this channel of M.Pequenina, through her daughter, Conselheira Jandira. Because her daughter, Conselheira Jandira, has so many good stories, good memories of her mother. And this place where we are right now, which is the memorial that we have built, it's being built at the José Gabriel da Costa Association. And it's an honor, as I said, for us to be able to participate in this work. And there's a whole team that's been doing a lot of work, our brother Alexandre and Conselheiro Jonas, Mestre Carlos Teixeira as well, all of us who have been doing a lot of work to be able to make this possible. So we're going to develop this theme of mother's love, this is an opportune moment to develop this theme, to be able to know the story of the União do Vegetal through Conselheira Jandira, speaking of M.Pequenina. Messi Almir is speaking now. He's saying, Messi Walter, thank you. And you mentioned the José Gabriel da Costa Association in the memorial. So I want to express my recognition to Conselheira Jandira because she is a hard worker, a person who works for the cause of the União do Vegetal. Ever since the first times that I got to know her, even though she was a witness of a story that is so beautiful with so much struggle and work from that very beginning of the time of the União do Vegetal. She also herself is a warrior for the things of the União do Vegetal, someone who really works hard for the things of the União do Vegetal. So I'm so grateful for her presence as a sister who's shoulder to shoulder with all of us working for the causes of the União do Vegetal. And so I want to pass the mic to Mestre Ricardo, who is going to be conducting the interview with Conselheira Jandira. And if anybody has questions, if you all want to ask the questions, all you have to do is use the YouTube chat. And you can go ahead and put your questions into the chat of the YouTube. And we'll be accompanying it, and whenever possible, we'll ask the questions that are coming in, as many of the questions that we can get to. So this is the message that he introduced, speaking a little bit about this, José Gabriel da Costa. This is Mestre Ricardo Teixeira, talking about this partnership with the José Gabriel da Costa Association with the DMC, because at the association, we know that the objective of this association is to build the memorial to Mestre Gabriel, the José Gabriel da Costa memorial, for us to be able to have a palpable place, a place for people to be able to visit, where when he came from the Seringal rubber tapping regions in the Amazon, when he came into Porto Velho, this is the location where he began the process of forming the institution, the material organization of the União do Vegetal. It's a place that's very special for Conselheira Jandira, who lived here as a child. And so especially for Conselheira Jandira, who's a very important person, she's very important for us in the center and also in the association. And we're sitting here inside of the replica of the house of Mestre Gabriel that has been built. And this is also the place where the sessions were held, the SEGI, the place where the sessions were held. And I know that this is very touching also to her and really touches her heart to be in this place that has so many memories of her father and her mother. So I want to begin here by asking Conselheira Jandira. Conselheira Jandira, will you please speak a little bit about your origins, where you were born, speak about your childhood with your father, with your mother, and your brothers and sisters? So this is Conselheira Jandira speaking, and saying, I also want to give my reverence at this moment to the Virgin Mary and to Jesus, and may they bless all of us. My childhood, thank God, I really took advantage of all the different moments of my life. I was a child and I really took advantage of being a child, and then I was a teenager, and today I'm an elder, thank God. And I was born in the Seringal, the rubber tapping region, in a place called Coração Fortaleza, and I was born on the 2nd of July of 1952, on a date when it's the date that the independence of Bahia is celebrated. It's also the day of the Bombeiro, which is the firefighters' day. It's the day of putting out fires. And I had a really well-lived childhood, thank God. My brothers and also with my brothers and who are also my friends, we spent a lot of good times together.
Então, conselheira Jandira, a senhora teve falando, né, da sua reverência à Virgem Maria, né, a nossa mãe.
So, conselheira Jandira, you were speaking about your mother. So I want to, and speaking about the mother's love. So will you please speak about the connection that M.Pequenina had with the Virgin Mary? Conselheira Jandira is responding. My mother, before she recreated the União do Vegetal together with my father, she was called like a person of Mary, a person who was dedicated to the Catholic Church. She had much devotion and she has much devotion with the Virgin Mother. And for us, the Virgin Mary is a sublime being where we can see within this most living love, the amor vivissimo, the most living love of the Virgin Mary, of Jesus, and we were raised within this religious principle. And my father, Mestre Gabriel, he was also a macumbeiro. He followed the macumba tradition, and my mother, she was Catholic, and they came together and they united and created the União do Vegetal, and they also created me. And so I see this is something really beautiful. They're two religious people who recreated this União do Vegetal, which provides so much support for people's life. And so I see that the Virgin of Conception, this sacred mother, the mother of Jesus, she safeguards us in the União. So my mother was very connected to the Virgin Mary, and as am I, and my daughter as well.
Senhora Jandira, o que a senhora tem para nos dizer assim, como era a Mestre Pequenina?
And Mestre Jandira is asking, how was Mestre Pequenina as a mother? What was her love and her tenderness like? How did she teach you? How did she correct you? How was she as a mother? Conselheira Jandira is responding. For me, my mother was the greatest mother in the world. And she was also for many other people as well, not just for me. And she always put us to think. She didn't. There's all kinds of trouble that we got into, and she was never one to spank us, but she always put us to think about things. She would say, go sit in that chair. It's like the thinking chair. Go think about what you did. This was really cool because we would really think about what we had done. And our mother, she was so beloved and so sweet, so much so that we didn't have the courage to do anything that would not please her, to anything to make her upset. So this was like her love. She was so loving, as many mothers are, but she raised us. She also took in many other people as well. She would be understanding when people had difficulties. It was really impressive how much she would understand people, how understanding she was of people. She was truly my first love.
O senhor tem alguma pergunta do chat aí?
Ainda do chat não, mas ligado ao que a senhora disse, conselheira Jandira.
So Messi Almir now is asking, Conselheira Jandira, of these memories that you have of your relationship with your mother and speaking about the Virgin Mary, can you tell something about how did your mother transmit to you and to your brothers and sisters this devotion to Mary? How was this passed to you? What can you tell us? Because many people ask us this in the spiritual orientation. And Conselheira Jandira is responding. So my mother, she would say the prayers with us. My father taught us some prayers, the prayer of my guardian angel, but most of the prayers that we would pray every evening and every morning, we learned them from her. And the Virgin Mary was very present in our home. And even within the União, we start with the Virgin Mary in the sessions. So it was really in life, like in the practice, just in our daily life. She had a number of images of the Virgin Mary, and I also have a number of images of the Virgin, and she passed this love on to us. Well, a lot of it was through the prayers, all with the Virgin Mary. And so it's like sweet honey, and it does good for us. It's so good for us, this sweet honey, that it comforts us and it dries our tears. It's everything.
Conselheira Jandira, e assim,
Mestre Alexandre is asking, Conselheira Jandira, what can you say
desde a sua infância, na sua juventude,
some memories that you have from the time of your youth, your childhood with M.Pequenina? And Conselheira Jandira is responding, my mother was always a good conselheira, a good counselor. For example, we would ask to go someplace. And she would say, anything that I would see at someone else's house, it stays there. So you wouldn't, she said, because you have to be prepared for the world. To go into somebody's home and listen to them and respect them, and then leave their home, and then what you learned there stays in their home, and you have to prepare children for the world. And so this is one way to respect people in their homes. And I used to always sing a song for my mom, and I'm going to see if I can sing it. I used to sing to her. At some point I'll sing it. Just a note to you guys, Conselheira Jandira is already in tears in this live stream, so she's feeling a lot as she's speaking. And whenever she speaks about her mother, she cries, so it's very sweet to see. So Mestre Alexandre is saying, what can you tell us about how she was as a mother raising children? Conselheira Jandira is saying, she was a really strong woman. She overcame so many obstacles. And she was, and there's a story that she spent a year and 10 months taking care of the responsibility for the family, working. It showed a mother's love, it truly showed a mother's love, of the love of a wife, of a companion, someone who's willing to work and to struggle. So all of the good qualities, she was so honest. She only wanted that which was already hers. She didn't want things that she didn't have. One of the most beautiful qualities in my mother is that she didn't exalt herself in any way. She didn't think too much of herself. We know that she brought a number of chamadas that are very important to the União. And even with that, she didn't exalt herself. She was the companion of the mestre. But we could see her simplicity. We saw simplicity in her. She was a carrier of her star and a good conselheira. She was an example of firmness, of loyalty, a person who she used to she always spoke the truth to us. She always told us the truth. And we never saw her asking, saying that she was sorry for something, because the way she treated us was so good.
Ricardo, posso fazer uma pergunta da Irmandade?
So Marcel is going to ask one of the questions that's coming on the chat. Marcel is asking, Irmã Ceres is asking, what can you say with respect to M.Pequenina's childhood? Can you tell a little bit about her own life, her childhood? So M.Pequenina, she lost her parents when she was very young. So her childhood was not as wonderful as mine was. She didn't actually like to speak about it very much. And I respect this to this day. I know that she was raised by a cousin. And thank God she met the mestre and was able to build this family. And she always said that her true family is the União do Vegetal. Her true family is Mestre Gabriel and the União do Vegetal.
A senhora concluiu?
Sim.
E a senhora esteve falando das orações, né, que ela rezava com vocês.
And Mestre Alexandre is asking, and you're speaking, conselheira, about the prayers that she said with you. What were the prayers? Conselheira Jandira is responding. So the ones that we pray, Ave Maria, Hail Mary, Our Father, Hail Holy Queen. And so these all were prayers that we would say every day. She was very religious. We would kneel when we were children. We would kneel. We would kneel and say our prayers. And she would check and make sure that we knew the prayers. Like she would ask us to recite them so she could see if we knew them. So there were a number of prayers that she knew how to say for like certain illnesses. If a person had like a toothache, or if a person had fallen down, or if a person had was suffering from like evil eye or some of these other types of prayer of illnesses, she would pray and say prayers for those kinds of things. She knew how to heal those things. Mestre Alexandre is asking, M.Pequenina was a person who had a lot of joy. And so when this day would come around, like Mother's Day, how was Mother's Day commemorated? How did she feel? What do you remember of this? Conselheira Jandira is responding, oh, we used to always plan out what we were going to do. And like 3 or 4 days ahead of time, we would make a whole plan for what we were going to do on Mother's Day. So that, because there's always going to be our Mother's Day in the União and also our Mother's Day at home. And she was always really happy, really joyful on this day. She would invite lots of mothers, and especially the mothers who had very little financial conditions. She would invite them over to eat with us. And I used to always offer on her birthday, I used to offer a song that speaks about the mother. I used to offer it on her birthday. And then for her on Mother's Day, I used to sing to her. And I would bring flowers to her. And I'm gonna sing, and I'm here with there's a person who's a singer. I'm singing for them, but this is how the song went. Saying, receive the flowers, and each flower is one of my kisses. And my dear, 1,000 times my dear, on the earth you were born, you are the mother I dreamed of. may you be this way for my whole life, and I will never lose anything. God on earth has been born. You're the mother that I have dreamt of. So consider Jandira just saying the song that she used to sing to her mother on Mother's Day.
Muito bem. Então, conselheira, aproveitando aí nesse momento aí que a senhora
Mestre Alexandre,
né, que a senhora dedicava para ela.
Mestre Alexandre is saying in this moment that you
Madrid, né, do núcleo
sang the song that you used to sing from M.Pequenina, and there's a question here from somebody from Spain, from Núcleo Imaculado Concepción. If you could just share some specific moment that you could tell us about of some time in your childhood when your mother did something, comforted you. So Conselheira Jandira is responding, our life was always filled with good moments. And my mother, when I was a kid, she was always standing up for us, for me and for my brother, Armiro. My brother and I used to get into so much trouble, and she would stand up for us, thinking that we were so good, like she thought we were so well behaved. But that's why I called her a saint. Like she thought we were so good, and we were really misbehaving a lot. And when my father disincarnated, right here in front of this house where I'm sitting right now, and we were selling things to be able to have food. And I was 16 years old, and I would tell her, Mom, you can go to the brick mill and work with my brothers, and I'll stay here and I'll sell bread and things to be able for us to earn money. And so I would help her, and she would let me stay here and work so that she could go and work at the brick mill to be able to support us.
Muito bonita essa sua fala, né, dela ser a sua melhor amiga, assim. E aí, quando a senhora veio a ser mãe, né?
Mr. Alexandre is asking, when you became a mother,
no momento de orientar seus filhos,
in the moment of orienting your children, what you received from her, how did you take what you received from her to then take that to orient your children? Can you speak a little bit about that? So, Conselheira Jandira is responding, when I became pregnant with my son, Joelson, and I was concerned. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to take care of a child? I was like, I don't know how to be a mom. And we have a saying that God only gives as much cold as our blanket can handle. Like it can only give us as much as we can handle. And I would say this, don't ever lose moral integrity before your children. The moral integrity, meaning like do the things that need to be done for your children.
Não achei muita dificuldade, não. Porque eu não sei se é Deus que me deu os filhos bons.
Uh-oh, guys, my thing froze. Hold on.
E todos eles estão na união. E todos eles me respeitam.
Okay, I'm back. Because I don't know if God gave me specifically good children, but I have 4 children. They're all 4 of them in the União, and they all respect me. So I treated my children with a lot of care. And always showing the just side of things, the fair side of things, in the name of the whole family. It's the easiest thing to do, because sometimes it's like we'd say to the children, like there's some things that we would like to do, but we don't do them because of our family, because we know we have to take care of our family. And we always have to do what's right. And that's how we always lived. And for my 2 older children in Brasilia who are also watching, my 2 sons, Messi Joelson and Conselheira Joel. Oh, Messi Jamerson and Conselheira Joelson. Also, my daughters, Conselheira Joyce and Dandara.
E perguntar à senhora, conselheira,
they make me so happy.
Assim, conselhos, né, que a senhora tem para as mães, a senhora vendo o mundo hoje como está, e a senhora.
And one of her daughters is pregnant. Mr. Alexandre said, "May your next grandchild also come with health." And so also,
eu sempre falo que
Mestre Alexandre is asking, Conselheira Jandira, you knowing the way that you were raised, how you grew up, what counsel do you have for the mothers today with respect to how to orient their children? And so there's no receita, there's no recipe for how to raise children. But there's definitely something that we can always mirror for our children. And my father, he would never send us away, like go away. He never said that, because with those words, the person like could not know how far that kid might go with those kinds of words. So they would never say like, so even if like they were having a conversation somewhere and they would tell us to go elsewhere for them to have that conversation, like the kids need to be told to go somewhere else, they would never say go away or go pra lá, like far away, because they never wanted to send us far. And so that's something to be careful of, is what we say to our children. And our parents never tried to do something that would upset us, because each of us, we all have the right to raise our children. And so sometimes we might see things differently in the way that we raise our own children. But through love, when we have love, love is the only thing that really is constructive. And so when we have love, we can really do well. And children should be happy for the parents that we have, and happy is the child whose parents orient them. And I also want to remember my dear friends in Rio Branco who are here, people who I have in my heart as my brothers and sisters, and for some specific people there in these families. And I'm very grateful.
Geralmente os netos a gente orienta os filhos da gente pro bem, sempre.
And for all of my godchildren, for my grandchildren, and our grandchildren, we orient our children for what's good, and our grandchildren, and then the grandparents, you know, the parents of the child say, oh, don't give them sodas or don't give them sugar, and then of course the grandparents, that's all they want to do is give them the things that the parents say they can't have. But it's so good to be a grandparent, and I'm really happy for the family that I have, and I send my love to all of you and my family who are here.
Eu tenho visto por onde eu passo, né, pessoas que mencionam que a maneira dela lidar com a nossa
is saying,
juventude
Conselheira Jandira is a person who is
muito
very
eles, né?
beloved by the jovens, the young people of the União. And I've seen wherever I go, people who mention that the way that she works with the young people is very captivating. They are very captivated by her. And so on Mother's Day, is a day that we also live it as children, the young people. So I want to ask you, ma'am, Conselheira Jandira, will you say something thinking of the youth of the União do Vegetal, the young people and the families, thinking about of the families today? And thinking about the strengthening of the bonds of the families. What can you say? What can you say to the young people? I've heard a number of things that you've said in the past, but I really would love to hear you say it to all of us, to all the young people. What is it to have a youth that is healthy, and like counsel of a mother for a healthy youth, healthy young people? What I always, Conselheira Jandira responding, what I always say to young people, being young is awesome. And I say to all these young people are the future of the União, and they're the future of our nation. And so I always really encourage them to study, go to school, study more, go to school some more, and even some more, because you're the future of the União and of the nation. And so that when you get to the point of having competence and having the capacity to resolve issues, resolve those things that need to be resolved in the country and society, all of this, it really depends on the young people. And if these young people could these young people do the work to go to school, to study, to make good decisions in life, then it's going to facilitate us having a better world in the future. To be careful to take care of their families, because the impulses that we have during our youth are no joke. But we have to remember that we have a safe harbor that can help us so much in the União do Vegetal. And so we say to the children, like, honor your mother and father. May your days be long here on the earth with abundance, with prosperity and peace. Take good care of your family. And be good to your parents, especially to your mothers. The greatest gift that a mother can receive from her child is to not make things difficult for her. An obedient child is worth more than a lot of presents. One child who is obedient makes it so the mother can worry a lot less. That's what I can say to these young people. Go to school. When you go to choose somebody to make your life with, like to find somebody to marry, look really closely, be really careful with who you choose so that you can have a family that's equilibrated and healthy and beautiful. We have to really take advantage of this. What we really have to take advantage of when we're young is to really go to school and prepare ourselves for having this family. Mestre Alexandre is saying on this topic of the youth, he's saying there's a question from Isabelle Moraes. What are the counsels that Mestre Pequenina gave to you that you can say with respect to young women, how young women can enjoy their youth and be well? Conselheira Jandira is responding. Mestre Pequenina, my mother, she gave me a lot of counsel. I didn't listen to all of it, but everything that my mother and father taught me, they taught it right. But I didn't necessarily have the capacity to do everything right that they counseled me to do. I'm still working to do this. And especially within marriage, to really examine who you're going to marry, and because this really helps a lot. Thank God I am a person who is happy within my current marriage. I'm happy. And on the May 19th, we're going to have our 30-something wedding anniversary. It cut out right when she was saying the years, 30-something years of marriage. And when we're young, we think so differently. And then we start to mature and we get strengthened. We strengthen ourselves. And when we have people that are orienting us well, and within this work of the União do Vegetal, the União do Vegetal helps young people so much. It helps all people, but really helps young people. And sometimes we don't perceive so well the things that we really need to work on as young people, but our parents will perceive it. And if a child can conduct themselves in accordance with the way that the parents are orienting them, then things are so much easier. And I wish the whole União and all people in all the homes, I hope that everybody can be happy. May people be joyful, that have a good sense of humor, because a good sense of humor really facilitates a lot. And I said to my husband, I said that the day that you stop making me laugh, I'm going to think about what's going to happen. Because he said, because a couple needs to make each other happy. We have to live with joy. And always making other people happy too. And that's what we need in life and in our family. Having a good sense of humor really works. So it's good for young people to seek to spend time with people that can bring them good things. And we always have to seek the shade of whenever we need the shade of a good tree, because the sun is for everyone. and the shade, only a few have the shade. So we have to find the place where the shade is.
Saudável, né?
So then in those
E dentro
moments where we
disso, tem uma
need the
outra
shade or we
pergunta
need
aqui
like to
da
be comforted, and
Jailma
we have a place to go to be
Como que a
comforted.
mestre Pequenina ensinava vocês, orientava a respeito assim da saúde, né? O que fazer, tanto a senhora ter
And
falado
Mestre
do bom
Alexandre
humor,
is
da alegria,
asking
né? O que mais que
another
ela
question
orientava para a gente
from
poder ter uma boa
Jailma
saúde?
Santos, who's asking on the
A
chat,
saúde é-
how did Mestre
começa
Pequenina
na paciência, na
teach you with
mordida, né?
respect
Comer
to health?
devagar, mastigar bem,
And because you were speaking about joy and good sense of humor, but what else can we do to have a good health? Conselheira Jandira is responding, good health starts with patience in every bite that we take, eat slowly, chew our food. And we say that the meat is already dead, and now it's just time to eat it. It's not going to run away, so you can eat it slowly. And my mother used to always say, before you eat, wash your hands. And today, like public health, all they're saying is just all the time, they're saying, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And my mother used to always say this, wash your hands before you eat. Hygiene is important in the life of a person for their health. And sometimes people are getting contaminated, don't even realize that they're doing it to themselves. And we've seen that we're going through a moment, thank God, thank God we're getting through this moment of the pandemic that we've been in, and so that we can come to a place that is more solid after the pandemic. But even so, hygiene continues to be important, not to just eat any old thing. And so it's important to really pay attention to cleanliness, and that can really help our health. And our health is something that's really important. Today, I seek to have my remedies be my food. So I eat, greens and healthy grains and seeds. And this is I find that this is healthier for me, and I feel stronger, more so than like taking medications. But this is really important to take care of our health and pay attention to what we can do to take care of our health so we can live a long life.
Aprenderam a pedir a bênção desde cedo, né? Seu pai, da sua mãe, Mestre Gabriel.
Mestre Alexandre says, a number of people are asking with respect to the benção, which is the blessing, because we understand that that Mestre Pequenina and Mestre Gabriel taught you how to ask for a blessing. What is the meaning of the child asking for a blessing from their mother and father? So this was, Conselheira Jandira is responding, this was something that was really important when we were children, that they taught us, is for children to recognize their superiors, recognize who is standing before them. So we would wake up and we would ask our parents, we would say, bless me, mother, bless me, father, and they would say, may God bless you. And much better these words than something else that could be of the devil. So, and I still ask for a blessing to my older brother. I ask him for a blessing, and then he says, may God bless you. And my younger brother asks me for a blessing. And all of my children who are now adults and they're all married, and they all ask me, they come to me, they say, bless me, mother. And I say, may God bless you. So this blessing is very important. It's a reference. It's to show the reverence for the people who are the most important people in our life, who are our parents. And it's a direct connection with God. And then the parent says, may God bless you, may God give you good luck, may God make you happy, may God give you health. And these words, they facilitate it for our heart and facilitate our understanding. It's a really good thing for children to ask for these blessings.
Pediu para transmitir abraço para a senhora, tá bom?
Meu mestre material, muito gente boa.
And Mestre Almeida now is speaking, saying that Mestre Roberto Souto, who's one of the Mestres of the Council of the Teachings of Recordation of the Teachings of Mestre Gabriel, that Mestre Roberto Souto is accompanying. And she's saying, may God bless you, Mestre Roberto Souto. Person, that's really cool that he's watching, she says. And so Mestre Almir is saying, there's another question coming in, saying, Conselheira Jandira, what did you accompany with respect to the support? What did you learn from your mother who helped other mothers who were raising children on their own without the father? So because Mestre Pequenina helped some single moms that were in some situations that were very difficult raising their children. And so what can you say, Conselheira Jandira, what can you say to these mothers who have to raise their children without the presence of the fathers? Conselheira Jandira is responding. So I saw a number of times her orienting, because there are some mothers who, including like a few that I know, and there's some who the mother separates from the father, and then the children are having to be taken care of by like lots of other people, and like for a cousin or for a babysitter, things like that. So the people who are our children, we have to take care of them. When I separated, in my first marriage, I separated, and I ran to my mother's house because she's my safe harbor, and she helped me a lot when I was a single mother with my children. And until my prince arrived and I was able to remarry and have more children, and a person who my mother helped a lot is Conselheira Eulalia, and Conselheira Eulalia is still alive, and also another conselheira named Sueli, and I think that's Eulalia's children. They were raised within our home, and they would also call my parents like auntie and uncle, because they were like raised within our house, and they would ask them for blessings. And it takes a lot to take care of people and their, other people's children, but we have to do that work. And my mother with 8 children is a victorious person.
Tem muitas lembranças desse local que a
senhora. And Mestre Alexandre is speaking about, saying, Conselheira Jandira, you were speaking about this house that you are sitting in right now, which is the replica of the house of Mestre Gabriel. And it's the first time that we're doing a transmission of this, that we're doing a transmission from this location. And so, Conselheira Jandira, so what did Mestre Gabriel do to commemorate Mother's Day? Do you remember any of these sessions or any of these moments? There was, Conselheira Jandira is responding, there was only one session. It was just the one time in 1971. It was after March 27th, 1971, and when he passed away in September, there was just one. And Mestre Gabriel created this day. He created this commemoration on this day of Mother's Day. He created the session for Mestre Pequenina to direct. And Antonia, who wasn't even in the direction, she made the chamada of the União. And so Mother's Day was really special. That was the one session that we had. But Mother's Day, but you know what? Every day is Mother's Day. Every holy day is Mother's Day, just like every holy month is the month of Mary. Because that's why we give our reverence. And in our home, it was a place that was very special. There's also Mestre Luis Cardoso, who can help me tell this story. The session that he had here, it was me, Mestre Luis Cardoso, and Ireneu, who is the son of Mestre Joanico. And we organized for us to be here, just us. And it was really beautiful. And we did all kinds of decorations and making these with like these little itty bitty fruits, like almost like little berries, and then flowers, and we did a beautiful decoration here within this building here. And on the day of the session, he called us over, the 3 of us, and we drank vegetal. And so the Mestre gave us all vegetal, the 3 of us, and he told us to go into the house, because the wall is right here. Like, we're in this room where the sessions would happen, And then we were next door in the other part of the house. And M.Pequenina directed the session, but the Messi directed, he indoctrinated a lot. And he said, the couple only fights when both people want to fight. He said, one doesn't want to fight, the two don't fight. And he said, what they have to do is just take some water, drink some water, and to be able to not speak and fight. And the three of us we were just right next door in the other part of the house during the session. But a number of people, they remember the first couples, this is not a Mother's Day session, this was a couples session, and M.Pequenina directed it, and Messi Gabriel indoctrinated, and he gave us vegetal, and we were in the room next door. So we were actually in the first couple session, even though we were kids and we weren't even able to be in the session. And I didn't understand that I didn't understand the counsel that he gave, that a person should drink some water and hold it in their mouth. I didn't understand why a person would hold the water in their mouth. Like, are they supposed to hold it in their mouth and then spit it out? But that's what I understood, is that when we grow up, we have to drink water, but hold it in our mouth. But I didn't understand the counsel that he was giving to hold the water in our mouth so that we don't say something that will cause a fight. And so, like, for example, for couples, and the Messi was explaining in the session, I was hearing all of this. He was saying, like, sometimes a couple is fighting because the child is crying and the pot is burning on the fire. And he's saying, just pick up the child and then go tend to the pot. Don't be like fighting because one is, the mother is like fighting with the father because the child is crying and the pot is burning. So he said, he gave this example of, like, just go and pick up the child and hold them and deal with the pot that's burning on the stove. Like, just do both things. You don't have to fight because it's happening in the home that the child is upset and the pot also needs to be stirred. So this is C.Jandira's memory of Messi Gabriel doctrinating in a couple session about that. So C.Jandira is saying, what do you know of what Messi Gabriel said about his mother? C.Jandira is responding, saying that he was always remembering his mother. He always said that our treasure was our mother. And Messi Gabriel was always talking about our mother, saying that we couldn't mistreat her ever. And I have a recording of my mother saying, she said, my daughter, 47 years old, has never talked back to me. And after I heard her say that, I was even more careful never to talk back to her. And my father, he spoke very good about his mother. And when I met her, my grandmother, she spoke so beautifully about my father when he was a child. And he and Messi Gabriel used to talk about the saudade, the longing that he felt for his mother. And he said, because our mother is our first teacher, our first love. And he used to say those things. Our mother is our angel who God entrusted to us. So he would say all these beautiful things about his mother.
Muito bom, muitos
momentos. He would say the good angel for all of the children is our mother.
Então, uma das coisas que eu ia perguntar está ligada ao que a senhora já falou.
Messi Gabriel speaking. C.Jandira, this is so good to hear you speaking about these moments, and people are wanting to hear more. So another question, it's another thing that it's connected to something that you already spoke of, which is, what did Messi Gabriel say to the children with respect to your mother? Like, how did he speak about his wife? How did he teach you all to respect your mother? How did he teach you to respect his wife? So I don't know if there's some specific day or specific moment that you remember
Se tiver,
one of those things
eu
of just
gostaria
like
de
daily
ouvir
life
alguma coisa a mais. Porque esses exemplos falam muito para nós, sabe?
that Mestre Gabriel,
Sim. Graças a Deus, eu digo assim,
as a
o
father,
mestre,
what did
ele
Mestre Gabriel
fala
teach
que
you about how to
eu era
respect your
diferente de todos
mother?
os outros homens. Ele fala isso e era
Because
mesmo.
these
E
examples,
eu
when you're able to
acredito que a
give us
nossa família
examples, they
também é
really say
bem
a lot to
diferente
us.
de algumas.
Consider
Porque
Jandira
nós,
responding. Thank
que
God.
nem o mestre
So
Camilo diz, quando
the
o menino era
Mestre,
pequeno, ele
he
tem
said he was
poucas
different.
vontades,
He
né?
was different than all the other
Então,
men.
nós
And
não tinha assim,
he said that, and he really was
Deus
different than
livre
all
de
other
a gente
men.
dizer uma
And I
coisa
believe that our
para
family was very different from other
machucar a mamãe e o
families.
papai ter que
It's like Mestre Carmito says,
ou intervir naquilo.
when the child is
Isso
young,
também
the
para
child
ficar na
has very
ideia.
little
Não
will,
foi
like
que
will.
nem nós, irmãos.
So
A gente já sentiu
we
coisa
didn't,
assim com vontade de
like, God forbid we ever would like say
fazer algo com
something
o outro,
bad
fazer
to our
algo
mother,
um
and that our
daqui
father would
raiando
have
um
to
no
like
outro.
like
Aí meus irmãos
interfere
que estão
because
vivos,
or intervene because we had
nunca
said something
nós
bad to our mother.
falamos
We didn't even
com eles.
imagine doing
Sempre
that.
respeitamos, graças a Deus. Então a gente nasceu numa família que não exigia
We
respeito, a
maybe
gente já
wanted to
sabia.
like do all kinds of things with
Já
each
sempre
other, with like our
respeitamos. Nunca
brothers
foi
and
pedir
sisters,
assim, a mamãe,
but
me respeita,
we
o papai,
we never
respeita sua mãe.
fought. We always
Porque
respected
a
each
gente já
other.
sabia e
So
sabe
I
que
was
a vida
born in this family where he
e
didn't have
nós
to like
irmãos, nós
demand respect of
não
us
estamos
because
todo
we all
dia
felt
juntos, mas quando a gente
respect.
se encontra é
And
mais
so he never was
gostoso.
like, you have to
E
respect
nunca
me
assim
or
ralamos
respect
um
your
no
mother.
outro,
He never
assim,
had to say that because we just
bater
knew.
boca, ir pra
We
cima,
knew
de
that it
fato.
was
Deus
to
me
respect
livre.
them.
Deus defenda
And
nós.
like us as brothers and sisters,
E tem aqui
we
uma
are not always
pergunta
together, but whenever
do
we do
Marcelo
see each other,
Bastos.
we always are
Ele
happy.
quer
We never
saber se o
fight
mestre Gabriel
or
falou
like
para a
get into
senhora alguma
arguments. Like
coisa, ou
you know,
se a
God forbid,
senhora
may God defend us.
chegou a alguma coisa que a
And
senhora
Marcel
possa
Mir is
falar para
saying there's
nós,
another
né,
question.
a respeito do seu merecimento de ser filha da mestre
Asking, did
Pequenina.
Mestre Gabriel say to you,
Tem alguma coisa especial direcionada à senhora que a senhora se sinta à
did
vontade para
you,
falar?
are you able to say
Porque eu
to
sei
us
que tem coisas também que
with respect
pertencem
to
só a
your
cada um de
merit
nós,
to
né?
be the daughter
Então,
of
se a
Mestre
senhora não
Pequenina?
quiser falar, também tá tudo
Is
bem.
there
Mas se tiver alguma coisa, o
anything
Marcelo
directed
Bastos e nós todos queremos
that you'd
ouvir,
like
tá?
to say to us? Because I
Eu
know that
acho
there are
assim
things
que
that
meu
belong to
melhor
each of
momento
us,
é
like
esse, né, de estar
privately.
nessa
So I know
família.
if you don't want to say anything, I totally
E
understand. But if there's anything that you
ela
can
dizia,
share with
mãe,
us,
ela me chamava de mãe,
this
eu não
person,
gosto que
Marcelo
fale
Bastos, is
duas
asking this
vezes.
question. All of us would
Eu
like to
chamava
hear
ela
it
de
if you have anything to say
mãe,
about this,
minha
about your
princesa, minha
merit.
rainha, ela chamava minha
Consider
princesa.
Jandira is
Eu tenho
responding,
uma
said,
gravação
my
que
best moment
é
is this, to be
interessante, que
born
ela
in this
disse minha
family.
princesa.
And
Aí eu falei,
she
minha
used to
rainha.
say,
Ela disse, a rainha é eu. Eu digo, eu sei, eu tô dizendo que a
Mana.
senhora é a minha rainha. É muito legal essa gravação.
I used to call her my
Então,
queen. She used to call her my
isso aqui já
princess.
vem de algum
I have
tempo, não
this
sei de onde, não
interesting
sei de
recording.
quando,
She
porque
said, my
é
princess.
muito amor.
And she would say, my princess, and I would say, my
Eu vejo
queen.
assim,
And she would say,
o papai
I
me
am
deu
the queen. And she said, I know, mom, you're the queen.
privilégio de
And
vocês ser meu filho.
and
E
I
muito
know
menos
that
ser eu, já era bem
we
mais
came from some
difícil
other
por causa de
time because
vocês.
it's so much love. There's so much love involved in this in
Principalmente
our
o Camilo, né?
life. And my father, he used to
Esse mesmo
say,
ser pai de nós mesmo,
the
porque
privilege,
não era
you all
brincadeira não,
have a
mas
privilege to be my children.
tinha que ser, tem que ser filho de mestre
And
mesmo,
it's really
mestre
strong to be
Gabriel, porque
your father.
a gente
And
fazia
he said, it's a merit
sempre
for
numa
me to
curva, a
be
gente
your
fazia
parents.
mestre,
And that was no
sabe?
joke for him to say that
Não era
because we
brincadeira não.
really misbehaved a lot.
Então ele, algumas
The
vezes
person
ele
to be
dizia,
our father had to be the
privilégio
mestre,
de vocês ser
Gabriel,
meus filhos, merecimento meu, ser pai de
because
vocês. E eu vejo assim que a minha mãe, eu quero sempre ser
we
mulher,
really used
quero
to
sempre ser filha dele.
we used to be troublemakers.
Um dia eu quero me salvar,
He
não
would
vou por
say,
mulher, eu já
it's
pedi
a
foi pra
he
ele.
said it's my merit to
Eu
be
preciso
your
disso.
father. And
Nasci pra ser
I
mãe,
see that
pra ser
my
mulher.
mother,
O dia que
for
eu
myself,
nasci,
I can say that I always
essa
want to
daí
be a
é muito
daughter.
engraçado.
I
Quando
always
eu
want to be
nasci,
a woman. I always want
lá
to be born in
no
a body of a
Nordeste,
woman. I always want to be
eles
their
soltavam
daughter.
foguete 3
Every
tiros, um
incarnation,
homem,
to be a woman, to
2
be a mother,
tiros
and
pra
to be
mulher.
their daughter.
Então,
And
quando
the
eu
day that I
nasci,
was born,
a
this one's
parteira,
funny
no
because when I
domingo,
was
a
born
parteira falou, é homem.
in the northeast
Aí ele
of
deu
Brazil,
3 tiros com a espingarda lá, pólvora.
they used to
Quando voltou, a mulher disse, é mulher, disse, agora
have
é homem.
fireworks when a person was
Aí
born, and it was like
eu
2
por isso
fireworks for a
mudei
girl
meu
or
pensamento.
3 fireworks for a boy.
E eu
And
gosto de ser mulher,
I
adoro
was
ser mulher.
born, and the midwife
E
messed up,
o
and
meu
she said,
irmão Getúlio só me chama de
it's a
Luiz.
boy. And
Quando
so
era casada
they
com o mestre
set
Luiz,
off 3
ele
fireworks.
ligava, ele falava,
And then it
Luiz,
wasn't until later
pode
they
ser
saw that I
eu.
was a
Eu disse,
girl.
Getúlio não, é o outro.
And I
Era
love
muito
to be a woman.
engraçado,
I
né?
love being a woman.
E
My
eu
brother
fiquei
Getúlio,
complexo com isso. Aí eu tenho uma amiga lá no
he used to call me Luisa because I was married with Zé Luiz.
Por que tu chama tua
And
irmã de Luiz?
it was really funny. He used to call me that.
Quando ele era pequeno, que eu chamo assim, ele.
And I never had a problem with it.
É muito legal.
And I have a friend in Acre, Conselheira Terezinha, who asked
É muito legal.
Getúlio,
Então eu amo meus irmãos.
and this friend said, how come you call her Luisa? And Getúlio said, oh, ever since she was little, I always called her that. It's really fun to have brothers.
Senhora Jandira,
And I really love my brothers.
Pedindo aqui para a senhora falar mais um pouco, assim, a respeito de como era o comportamento da mestre Pequenina quando o mestre Gabriel precisava corrigir algum filho. Como é que era a posição dela, né, o momento.
So people are asking, Mestre Chandra, some people are asking with respect to Mestre Pequenina, when Mestre Gabriel had to correct one of the children, how did Mestre Pequenina position herself when Mestre Gabriel had to correct one of the children? What did she do in those moments? Mestre Chandra is saying she would always support, because when he would correct us, it was because there was no other way. Because my father, he didn't correct us the first time we did something wrong. He would always give us opportunities. Because the ones of all of the brothers and sisters, the ones who gave the most work, were the most troublemakers, was me and Carmito. We were always the ones who would get in trouble. But thank God there was somebody to get into trouble, you know, to have some of that movement. And so when he would correct us, because my father, he would like give us warnings, but then when it was time to actually correct us, he would put some like instruments out on the table. He'd given like numerous opportunities ahead of time, but only later. Like first time we would do something, he'd say, oh, that one I'm writing down on my notebook, I'm taking note of it. And then the second time he would say, oh, you're warning. But then the third time there was a spanking of some kind. And so then he would have us come over and we would choose what we wanted. There was like the paddle, like not paddle, but like a little like a wooden spoon kind of thing. And that was the one that I would, and it was like, if it was the belt or if it was the little paddle or what it was going to be that we would get spanked with. And he would give us this counsel, and I don't know what hurt more, if it was the spanking or the counsel. He would say, you look at me because you have to look me in the eye. And after we would get our punishment, then we would give our father a hug, and he would say, I want your hug and your kiss, because everything that he taught us all right. I just didn't have the ability to understand that it was right at the time, because of course I didn't like it. But later on, I understood that he did it with so much love. And my mother would be there and she'd be totally fine with it. And sometimes she would like give us a look. And because they were in harmony with one another, because sometimes like the mother corrects the child and the father doesn't like it, or the father corrects the child and the mother doesn't like it. And sometimes the father is like, the father is correcting the child and the mother like intervenes and like tries to stop him. But it's much better when the couple is in harmony with one another. And I believe that the harmony between my parents was so good, because this house, I'm so happy to show this house, which is this replica of the house that we lived in, because our life was very transparent. Because if you have a conversation in that room over there, you can hear it in the other room here. Like you can see how thin these walls are. And so our life was very transparent. And someone said one time that my brother was like all covered. They got to our house and they thought that my brother was like all covered in, he was covered in mosquito bites. Because like because my brother didn't have a mosquito net or something, or the mosquito net had come down and he didn't have a mosquito net and he was all covered in mosquito bites. But I don't know where the person got that idea, because the person said that they had come to our house when we were children and that my brother had mosquito bites, but it's not true. We all had a bed and we all had a mosquito net. We all had a mattress. And at that time, my father had a mattress that had springs in it, but the children, we all had straw mats, which is how it was at that time, that children had straw mats, but our father had springs. But we had everything that we needed. We didn't need anything more than that. And M.Pequenina, she took in so many people here. She is a mother in the hearts of so many people that she took in. Mestre Luis knows that when my Mestre Luis knows that when I got married to him, my wedding dress was made of silk and lace. And my father, he had a bike, and he had our house, and he had a bike and a truck and a house and everything. He gave us everything that we needed. So if people had this idea that like we were so poor that we didn't have mosquito nets, that person was wrong. The reality is that we had everything that we needed.
Em relação a mães de
So,
criação,
Almeida is
mães
speaking.
que criam filhos de outras
There's
mães.
another question coming in.
Luiz Carlos Terra pergunta como a Mestre Pequenina
What did you hear Mestre Pequenina saying?
Adotiva. É o mesmo assunto, né? Então, aproveitando tanto que a senhora acompanhou de
There's
sua
a question
mãe,
about what did Mestre Pequenina say about mothers who raise children that are not their own, like adoptive, either the child who is adopted and how the mother raises a child who's adopted, or raising other people's children who are just helping to raise other people's children because of difficult situations. So, C.Jandira is responding, it's the same mother. It's just change the place. One is the mother who had the baby in their belly, and the other is the mother who has the baby in their heart. We know that it happens that sometimes a woman is not able to have a baby, but what we know is that the mother's love is sublime love. It doesn't matter if the child was in the woman's belly or not. The mother is the mother. The love of a mother is compared to the image of the Lord, like it says in the Shamada. It's what is the image of the Lord? It's good actions. It's where there's joy, where there's health, where there's justice. So mother's love is sublime. So she used to always say there's no difference, because there really is no difference in the love that a woman feels for a child that she gave birth to, or the child that she raises who is adopted. And even if we even like animals, people who like animals, if a person has like a bird or a dog or a pet that they raise, and the love that they have. And my mother used to say, if you want to know what a mother's love is, adopt a child, because it's the same love of a mother who gives birth. There's no difference. Mestre Almir is asking, in the same line, I want to know if you, ma'am, can say anything with respect to what you remember about this Shamada that you mentioned right now, the Shamada of the love of the mother. Do you have anything to say with respect to the origin of this Shamada, if you remember of any special moment that marked you? There's some stories that are told, but I prefer not to talk about it here at this time. So this question I'm not going to answer today about the Shamada. Okay, everybody has to just accept it that she's not going to answer the question about the Shamada, because there's been lots of questions coming in on the chat about the Shamada of Amor de Mãe, the Shamada of mother's love, and C.Jandira is saying she's not going to answer those questions on the live stream. So Mestre C.Jandira is saying, what is the best way for a child to show his respect, to show his love for his mother, for the child's love for the mother? C.Jandira is responding, the best thing I found to give tribute to my mother is to seek a way for her not to suffer, to do things that please her. I think the best way to please our mother and father is to walk on the paths that they show us to walk on, because every father and mother wants their child to be well. So when we treat our mother and father well, we know that God will see the moment when we do something. So sometimes I used to say to my mother, and I would say, oh, hello, my Santinha, my little saint. we have to, when I discover the way to be able to work with our mother, we see she's our greatest love. And my mother, I feel I miss her so much. Only I know how much I miss her.
Sabemos assim, né? Pelo menos um pouco da importância da mestre pequenina para a criação da união junto ao mestre Gabriel. E ela é assim, para nós é a mãe da união do
Mestre
vegetal, né?
Chandra is asking.
O que a senhora tem para nos dizer a
Consider Jandira,
respeito disso, assim, da mestre
we know a
pequenina
little
sendo a
bit
mãe
about
da
the
união do vegetal?
importance.
Eu acredito que seja assim, inclusive tinha o
For
povo
us
que
in the
veio
União
lá
do
do
Vegetal, Mestre
campo,
Pequenina
lá
is the mother of the União do
Brigais,
Vegetal.
chamavam ela de mãe.
What can you say about Mestre Pequenina being the mother of the
reconhecimento
União do
às
Vegetal?
pessoas.
And Consider Jandira is
Noé,
responding.
Sofia,
I believe that this is
Benute.
how it is
Era uma turma
because
de gente que chamava ela de
people who
mãe.
used to live there in the Mamo and the Seringais,
A
those
pessoa
people
que
used to
deu
call her
origem à
mother. The
nossa
people who
casa
used to drink
também,
vegetal in that place,
sempre
those
foi
people used to
aberta
call
para
her
receber
mother.
as pessoas. As pessoas chegavam,
All these people,
pendurava a rede no
there was a bunch
canto,
of people that
botava
used to drink
colchão no
vegetal in that
outro,
place, and when they
e
saw her,
sempre
they would call her
tinha
M.Pequenina,
lugar na
because
mesa para
she's the
comer.
person who
Sempre tinha alimento na nossa
who
casa
provided the
para comer.
origin of this place. Her home was always open to receive people.
É a mãe da União do
People used to
Vegetal,
arrive at our home
considerada.
and just hang up their hammocks or put their
Um dia
little
eu vi o mestre
mat
Candira
in the
dizendo
corner,
que
and she would
a
always put food
matriarca,
on the
né,
table
é a
to eat.
mãe
There was
da União do
always food.
Vegetal, porque foi onde começou tudo,
And so
né, nesse
I see that
destacamento de
she's
Gabriel, foi
the
na nossa
mother of
casa
the
lá,
União
era
do
muito
Vegetal.
legal.
One time I saw Mestre Monteiro calling her the
E as pessoas
matriarch,
chegavam
like
em
the
casa como
matriarch of
filhos
the
mesmo,
União do Vegetal.
comendo,
And because that's
sorrindo
where everything
e
began
participando.
from, for this, in this destacamento, this detachment of
Por isso,
Gabriel,
assim, por
in
isso que eu acho
this
que é
life, the
uma
União
das
do Vegetal
mães
came from
melhores
their
que tem
home,
no
from the
mundo.
home of
E
Gabriel
até
and
hoje está
Pequenina.
servindo a nós.
And there everybody was, just coming over and sleeping on our
Porque
floor and eating food on our table and
às vezes, se
participating
uma
there with
mulher não
us.
fizer uma coisa, é muito difícil.
That's
Porque eu vi meu pai dizendo,
why I feel that
minha
she was
velha,
one of
só
the best
hoje, só
mothers
hoje.
of the world, because
Ah, Gabriel,
even
hoje não
gone,
dá
she's
para
still
beber chá
serving
não,
us.
menina, só hoje. Quando não tinha mais ninguém,
Because
tinha sempre ela. Por isso que
I saw my
ela
father
recebeu
saying,
o título que merece. Porque fez coisa que só
he would
pequenina para
say,
fazer.
today we have to drink, we're
Aquela
going to drink
pequena
vegetal.
notável.
And
Só ela para fazer. Você vê hoje, você chama a mulher para ir ali no sítio,
and
vamos
she
passar
would,
um fim
every
de
time he said
semana,
that we would have a
andar
session,
de
and
tarde,
she would be right there
caravana
to
chega, a
do
mulher
all the
pegou
work to be able to make it happen,
minha
to be able
mãe
to have
por
the
anos, pelos
session.
Brigais,
She was the
pelos
only
boys,
one who would
pelos
handle
filhos,
doing all of that work.
só a mestre pequenina mesmo. Eu digo, que mulher forte. E doce como uma
And
flor,
sometimes places like in the
fácil,
Seringao, you
como
take some
mansa
women
e
you take
fiel,
there, and the woman could
como
pass
uma
like one
balança.
day, and then already by the end of the day they want to go home because it's so difficult to live there. And Miss Pequenina, she spent many
Conselheira
months, years
Jandira,
living in the Seringao. She's a
eu
woman who
sei que a
is
senhora
so
sabe, que a senhora
strong,
acompanha as coisas da União, né?
so sweet, and so loyal to him,
E a senhora está
willing to
vendo,
live that
né,
life for so long.
o trabalho que está sendo feito nessa área
Marcel Mier is
que a
asking,
gente chama
Conselheira
hoje em dia de
Jandira,
orientação
I know that
espiritual, né,
you
com crianças e
are accompanying the
jovens,
things of the
que é um
União,
trabalho que, na verdade,
and
sempre
you're
foi feito
seeing
na União do Vegetal, né, mas
the work
hoje
that's
está com
being
essa
done within the
organização que
area
está,
of
né? E a União do
within the
Vegetal
spiritual
está do
orientation
tamanho que está, né? Tantos
with
núcleos,
children and
milhares
youth,
de
which is
pessoas,
a work which
só de menores de
has
idade,
always, as you know, has always been done in
até
the União do
de
Vegetal,
0
but
até 18
today it
anos,
has
hoje em
this
dia
new
são
structure of
8.600.
organization within this
É um
work of the spiritual
contingente
orientation. And
considerável
we know
hoje em
that
dia,
there's
né? O que a
just
senhora tem
among
para
the
dizer, conselheira?
minors, just
Assim,
from
aqui
birth to
eu estou
18 years
pedindo um
old,
auxílio
we
mesmo
have
de toda a sua
8,600
bagagem de vida,
children
né?
from 0 to
Como
18.
filha de
It's
Mestre
a
Gabriel e Mestre
considerable
Pequenina
contingent
e
of our
também com a
União.
sua vivência
So what do you have to
como
say,
uma
conselheira?
dirigente do centro, com a bagagem que a senhora
And
tem. O
I'm
que a senhora
asking for
pode dizer para a gente,
all
o
of your
que a senhora
help,
vê
with
que
all of your
são as
experience of
coisas mais
being a daughter of Mestre
importantes hoje que
Pequenina
a
and
gente
Mestre
deve
Gabriel, and
prestar
also your
atenção
experience
em relação
as one of
ao
the leaders of our
atendimento que a
center
gente
with
tem
the
que dar
experience that you have?
para as famílias,
What can you say
nesse lugar de mãe e
to
de
us?
avó que a senhora é,
What are the
e
most
também desse
important
lugar de
things that we should
conselheira.
really be paying
O que a
attention
senhora
to with
pode
respect
dizer para auxiliar
to
o nosso
how
trabalho?
we attend to the
Eu acho
families
que esse trabalho
in
é
this, from
trabalho
this
muito
place of
bonito, é trabalho bem oriental
from
mesmo.
this place of
Trabalho
mother
que
and grandmother that you are, but also from this place of
facilita,
conselheira. What can you say
facilita
to us to
a
assist us in our
caminhada
work?
dos caianinhos, né, das crianças.
I
Facilita
consider
o trabalho
Jandira
dos
responding. I
pais.
believe this work
Isso
is
eu acho
a really
assim,
important work. It's a work of orientation. It's a work that facilitates the path of the young kaya niños, and it facilitates the work of the parents. And I believe that it's very admirable, because there are so many people that are because this, even though they're not necessarily our own children, we're concerned with the lives of other people's children, and so we're wanting to provide support and make an effort to provide help to the parents to take care of their children. I believe this is really important work. So I believe that the orientation, I know that this orientation that's being given will with certainty bring good fruit in the future, because there's so many children in the União who there's so many representative mestres. Who have received, so many people who received the support, the orientation when they were young, and now today they are representative mestres. And these people who work with the spiritual orientation, the counsel that I can give to you is to the families is bring your children to the União when possible. Bring your children to the núcleos. And right now, we're in this moment, we have to obey the laws of the country, and there's restrictions, but there's also room for spiritual orientation within your home. Find a way to facilitate your children's path in life, because they're ahead and on the path. We see there's so many things that we see in the world, and sometimes some of the things that we see are just because of a lack of orientation, because nobody showed the path to that particular child, and they didn't show them where the light is. And so what I can say is it's a work that we have to all help with. And I directed a session in the United States for the first region there in the United States. It was a Joven session. It was so beautiful. And some really young kids, and they were all there in the session, and my heart was so filled with joy to see the work of the União do Vegetal there in every place in the world. And with certainty, these children that are these young people, they're receiving some really good work. And at that encontro, there was a grandchild of Messi Bartolomeo, and he came, and he's living in the United States, and he's been he came, and he was in that session and helping his mother now, and more connected to this work of the União do Vegetal. And so I really see that this support is so important to have to help young people. I'm really happy for this work that you all are doing, Mestre Almi. And may the Mestre always give you more energy, more discernment, more strength for you to be able to administer this work. It's so beautiful, this work. May God bless. And if you need me at any time, whatever I can do to help, please count on me.
Perguntando aqui de onde veio esse nome, esse apelido Pequenina, né, para essa mulher de tão grande coração.
And there's more questions. Mestre Alexandre saying there's a person who is asking, how did Mestre Pequenina get this nickname, Pequenina? Such a
Pequenina já veio lá da casa dela mesmo, dos pais dela. Pequenina, tinha pessoas que achavam que era meu pai que tinha dado, mas ela já.
So this question, this name Pequenina, which is a nickname, Pequenina means small, like it's a term of endearment, small. So this name, people thought that it was my father who'd given this name, but she already came with this name. She had this nickname ever since she was little. Her own parents used to call her Pequenina, which is like Pequenina, like small, but with great strength. And I used to say, like, how is it that you have all this strength and all of this force? She's a rock, like sturdy as a rock. What she lived, what she went through, only Pequenina is. So That's why I say, because that's like, to be a
conta
mother
pra
is to be
gente um
pequenina,
pouco,
to be small, but with
se
so
tem uma
much strength.
música que a M.Pequenina mais gostava,
So that's a
ou que
nickname that she had
músicas a
ever since
senhora
she
se
was little
lembra
from
que
her
ela
own parents
gostava
before they
mais,
died.
principalmente
Mestre
relacionadas a
Almeida is
esse
asking,
tema
Conselheira
de Dia
Jandira,
das Mães? A
will you
senhora já
tell us,
cantou aí uma
was
pérola, né,
there
da
a
música
piece of
brasileira.
music that Mestre
Aliás,
Pequenina
achei que a senhora
loved?
cantou bem,
Or
viu?
what songs
Mas
do you remember that she used to love?
queria que o pessoal está querendo
Especially,
saber
especially like with
que
respect
outra
to
música,
Mother's
que
Day, you
outras
sang that one
músicas ela
little song, a
gostava, que a
little
senhora se
pearl of
lembra?
that song that you
E
sing,
Assim,
and I really thought
a
you
minha
sang
mãe,
it well.
ela gostava muito de uma música da Marinês,
But people are
aquele Dia
wanting to
das Mães,
know,
né?
what kinds of songs
Mas a
did
música
she
de
like
preferência dela
that you
mesmo
remember?
era aquele Sonhando com Meu Bem.
My
Eu lancei
mother,
a minha
she used
rede
to love
no
this
pé de
song
Cambucá. Aquela
from
música
Marinês,
tinha uma história dela com meu pai.
but her
Muito.
favorite song,
E outra que ela gostava muito era Rainha de
Sonhando com
Sabá,
Meu Bem,
Reino das Flores.
is
Mas uma que ela gostava
Sonhando
que
com
era
Meu Bem, which is
era
like
uma da
dreaming about my
Marinês,
love.
assim,
And she used
eu
to
tô
play
lembrando
that song. She
agora.
loved it because it was like about,
Essa
she thought it was like about my
mãe
father. There was another one that she loved
eu
called
fui pra
Rainha de
ficar,
Sabá, which is the
mas
Queen of Sheba.
voltei.
There's another called Reino
Pelo
das Flores, the
mundo
Kingdom
que
of Flowers.
andei,
But one she used to love for
somente
Mother's Day was from
sofri
Marinês, and she
e chorei. Vi
this
gente
one that says, "Bless me, Mother, I arrived."
confiante, achando que a gente é pior, mais ou menos assim.
It's
Mas,
a song
no
that
meio de
says,
tanta
"Bless me, my
saudade,
mother,
sempre
I
vou lembrar da
arrived,
mãe, né?
because in the world I used
Então,
to
um filho
suffer, but
que foi
I've arrived
aprontado e
here now."
voltou,
And
né?
she's
Então ela
she's
gostava
singing
dessa
the
música,
song,
que não é o nosso caso.
this song from Marinês that was really beautiful.
sim, senhora.
Because in the midst of all
Mestre
of the
Ricardo, eu
evils
quero
out in the
pedir
world,
aqui
the child
licença
came
para
back to the
dizer
mother's house and was
que,
recognizing the love of
assim,
the
a
mother. So
minha
my mom
sincera
used to love to listen
gratidão,
to this
tá? Por a
song.
gente estar realizando esse trabalho nesse dia de hoje, tão especial. Eu me senti emocionado aqui em alguns momentos, com a
So Miss
emoção
Elmir
dessa
is saying, my sincere
senhora
gratitude for us to be able
jovial e
to
alegre,
do
que
this work on
conosco há
this
tantos
day. It's
anos.
a special day
Mas
here,
de
and
ver a senhora
I
aí,
was
nesse
so
lugar,
touched
tem
by
muitas pessoas, conselheira Jandira,
by
que acham que
this
esse lugar aí onde
this
a senhora está agora
jovial young
sempre foi
woman,
em preto e
Conselheira
branco, que
Jandira, who
só
I've known for so
conhece as
many years,
fotografias.
to see you here in this
E eles
place
estão
at
vendo
the
aí, né, o
memorial
ambiente com
at the
as
José Gabriel da
cores
Costa Association.
originais, né?
There are many
Trabalho
people,
tão amoroso, tão
there's so many people
dedicado,
who
com
think that that
esforço de
place where you are right
tantos
now was
anos,
only in black and white
de
because they only
tantas
know the
pessoas,
photographs. They've
né?
only seen the
Mas
photographs.
que
And so to
eu
see you
destaco,
there with the
sinceramente,
walls painted
a
and all of the
sua, o
original
seu
colors
empenho
that you all
pessoal
painted the
em
memorial so
ver
that people
esse
can
sonho
see in
começar a se
color.
tornar
So much
realidade, que
work and
é
so many
essa
years.
sede da Associação José Gabriel da Costa,
But
hoje em dia já ser esse
I
lugar
just want to
tão bonito,
highlight
né?
here for
E
everyone
tão
your
favorável
endeavoring
para a
and
gente
your work
realizar
that you
uma
did to
atividade
make this memorial
deste tipo,
become a
né?
reality, because this
Eu fico
association, the José
realmente
Gabriel da
muito
Costa
agradecido
Association, for it to
por a
be
senhora
today this place
concordar
that's
em
already built,
participar desse dia
and
com a
it's a
gente
place where we can even
e da
have
gente
this
conseguir
kind of an
fazer,
activity, like
graças ao
have a live
apoio de
stream from
diversos
this
irmãos,
place with
fazer
you
nesse
sitting there.
lugar
And I'm so
tão
grateful
especial
for
para a
you to
gente, né?
have
Que
agreed
já
to
está se tornando
participate
assim um
here
lugar
today
de
with us,
peregrinação, né? E
and
se a gente
for us
pensar
to
no
be able
futuro
to
da União do Vegetal,
have
quantas
this
e quantas
support from the
pessoas
brothers and sisters who helped us
visitarão
out
esse
with the
lugar.
technical support to
Então,
be able to
fica aqui
have this
também
event at the
registrado, sabe,
José Gabriel da
conselheira,
Costa
a minha gratidão
Association
pela
Memorial.
sua
And if we think about the
dedicação
future of the
de
União do
corpo e
Vegetal,
alma para ver esse
how
trabalho
many
acontecer.
people
E eu
will visit
sei
this
que
place?
muitos de nós
And
também
so
apoiam de
it's
alguma
also,
maneira, né?
I also
Eu
want
não
to
estou
register here my
colocando
gratitude
todos
for your
os
dedication
méritos só para a senhora, não.
in body and
Mas
soul, your dedication to make
muito
this happen. And I know that
significativo
many
para
of us
nós
also
estar vivendo esse
support this
dia
work in
aqui,
different
né?
ways. I'm
E
not
poder
saying that,
ver essa vitória, né?
I'm
Que é a
not saying it's
vitória da
all
União do
you,
Vegetal, mas que eu reconheço a sua
but
liderança
it's very
durante
meaningful
um bom tempo, né?
to
E
all of
ainda
us that we
hoje,
are
querendo ver esse sonho se tornar
being able to see
realidade.
this victory,
Então, de
which
minha
is of the whole União
parte,
do
minha
Vegetal.
querida
But
amiga, eu
I
desejo que a senhora
recognize your
saúde,
leadership during a
felicidades,
lot of
que
time,
esse
during a long time, and
coração de
still to this
mãe e
day,
de avó
seeking this
possa
dream,
servir a
seeking to have this
muitas
dream become a
pessoas
reality.
nessa nossa
So,
união.
my dear friend, I
Eu
wish you health.
desejo
and happiness.
A sua
And may
maneira
this heart of
de
a mother and of a
expressar
grandmother that you have,
a sua
may it
verdade, a
serve
sua
many
visão a
people
respeito da
in
nossa
our União do
união,
Vegetal.
uma coisa muito importante para todos
And
nós. Então, eu
I
quero
see that
outras
your
vezes poder contar
way
com a
of
sua presença.
expressing your truth,
De
your
minha
vision with
parte,
respect
não sei
to
se
the
tem muitas
União,
perguntas ainda
it's
dos
something that's
irmãos,
very important for
mas
all
eu
of
queria
us.
ter tempo, porque a
And
gente está quase
so
no
I want
finalzinho.
to other times
Agradecer ao
also be
senhor
able to
também
count on your
e
presence.
desejar para a Associação José Gabriel da
And
Costa que
for
prospere
myself,
nos seus
I don't know if there's a lot
objetivos
of more
e que
questions here, but for
possa
myself,
cumprir com todos
because
os
we're almost getting to
projetos
the
que
end here
hoje
of our
nós
time,
sabemos que
but I want
existem
to
e que estão aí para servir a toda a Irmandade da União.
express that my
Então,
hope that the
minha
José Gabriel
gratidão
da
nesse dia
Costa
de
Association
hoje.
may
Registro aqui a
fulfill
saudade
its
também da minha
objectives
mãezinha
and
e
be able
me sinto
to
bem de
turn
poder ver
all of the plans into
esse trabalho de
reality.
hoje está
And
acontecendo de
so
uma
my
maneira tão
gratitude
fácil,
today,
tão simples,
and I
tão
register
gostoso de
today
viver,
also my
tá? Muito
saudade,
grato,
my
viu?
missing of my own mother,
Sinceramente.
and to see that this work is happening today in a way that is so easy and simple and beautiful, so easy to be able to do this with everybody, and it's so gratifying. And Conselheira Jandira is speaking. I should tell you all of the moment when M.Pequenina entered here, when we inaugurated, or when we created this memorial. Conselheira Jandira explaining, because we didn't have photos of the inside of the house. We had to just do it by memory. We had to build it by memory. And I wanted to know if we were doing it right. And so I wanted to bring her here to know what mistakes we had made. And so I asked her, I wanted her only to come here once it was done, once it was ready. I didn't want her to see it while we were building it. And so on the day that we inaugurated it, and we had the doors closed and she was waiting outside. When she arrived, we opened the doors and we said, "Welcome to your home." And she went directly to this closet that was off to the side. And the tears just started to come. And she wasn't so easy because I cry all the time. I'm a total crier, but she's not so much. And when I saw those tears in her eyes, she said, "Mana," she said, it was like a bureau, like a that they had put there, and I had explained to him how he had to build it to make it so it was the same as how it had been in the house when I was a kid, and I had to explain to him exactly how to make it, and he found a way to take what I explained to him, and I explained, do this here and do that there, and the whole room. And so she sat in this place where I am right now, facing the other direction and watching this movement of people in the space and crying. And when I asked her if she wanted to speak, she said, "My daughter," she said, "I would let go of everything that I've ever gotten since. If I could just go back to my life the way that it was when I used to live in this house." She said, I would go back to how things were at that time. Because of the saudade, she just missed everything so much from how her life was that time when she lived in that house. And we felt like how it completed everything to have her come into the place and feel this house so filled with love. Mestre Almir is saying, "Thank you so much for this gift." And Mestre Alexandre is saying, "I want to express my gratitude, and I also want to read a message here from Mestre Jamerson, who is Conselheira Jandira's son. My dear mother, thank you. It's so good to be able to hear so many of your memories. With love from your son." So, Mestre Almir, I want to say on behalf of the directorate of the association and also the organization for us to be able to have this live stream here today. It's to be able to have this living memory inside of this memorial, for us to be able to have built this memorial.
Citando também o mestre Zé Carlos, que hoje é nosso mestre geral representante, né? E sempre lembrando, né, convidando as
And
pessoas
to have
a,
considered
se puderem
Jandira,
se
as you said, she's a
associar,
person
contribuir
who's
com as
been
suas
so
doações,
important to
comprando
this
a
work of the
camiseta na nossa
association,
loja, né?
who's worked so hard.
E também
Want to
a
also
minha
cite
gratidão,
Mestre Zé Carlos, who's our
assim,
General
ao
Representative
mestre
Mestre, who
central aqui da
also worked
região,
so
mestre
hard for the
Carlinhos Júnior, que
association.
está apoiando esse
And reminding
trabalho,
everybody, anybody
né, que foi
who can
favorável desde o
become a
início,
member
né, em nome
and
aqui também do DMC da
contribute
nossa região,
donations or buy a
conselheiro Walter
t-shirt, whatever you
Rodaró,
can do to support
da
this work, you're
conselheira
welcome
Leide,
to do that.
né, que é a
And
coordenadora da
for
OE
the
aqui na região.
central
Então, um trabalho, uma
Mestre of our
parceria
region, Mestre Carmiro
muito boa,
Jr.,
né?
who's considered
E também a
Jandira's
minha
nephew.
gratidão pessoal, né?
And
Tantos
also
agradecimentos aí,
on
as
behalf
memórias da
of
conselheira
Messi
Jandira,
Walter and the
momentos assim
Department of
emocionantes, né? A
Memory and
gente poder
Communication, also considered
conhecer um
Leiji,
pouco mais
who's the
dessa união,
coordinator
né?
of the
Ver
spiritual orientation.
um
It's a
pouco
partnership
mais
that's
o
been really
valor
good for all
da
of us.
mestre pequenina,
And
da
also my
união, assim,
personal
eu também, para
gratitude
mim, eu considero ela como a mãe
to
da União
for
Vegetal,
consider
graças
Jandira
ao
moments
bom
that are so
Deus que teve essa
touching,
família para
to get to
iniciar esse
know you
trabalho
all,
que
to
não
get
foi
to know
tão
you
fácil,
more
né?
and to get to know
Mas são
the
pessoas
value of
realmente que
M.Pequenina.
puderam,
I
né? Como a
consider
conselheira
her
Jandira
to
explicou,
be the
né?
mother of the União Vegetal.
Pequenina ali
Thanks
pôde
to our
aguentar as
God, we have
dificuldades
this
de
family
vencer e ser uma
who could
vencedora e
begin
ter
this
muitos
work that
exemplos
was not
como
easy
mãe, como
to begin this work of
conselheira,
the União do
né?
Vegetal. And
E a
as
conselheira
Conselheira Jandira
Jandira também
explained,
muito grato
thank God we had people who
por
could
tudo que a gente
that we had people
está
strong enough, that
recebendo
Messi
hoje
Pequenina
aqui
was
da
strong
senhora.
enough and to
Desejo
overcome
assim,
and to be
feliz Dia das Mães para a
victorious,
senhora,
to
lembrando
overcome
tanto da
everything
minha
that she
mãe
had to
também.
overcome as
Feliz
a
Dia das
mother,
Mães
as
para
a
todas as
counselor.
mães da União,
And
né?
thank you to
Que
Conselheira
possa
Jandira
sempre render bons frutos esse trabalho da orientação espiritual,
for
que, como
everything
ela
that we
disse, é um
are
trabalho muito importante
receiving
dentro do centro
today.
para o
Happy
presente, para o
Mother's
futuro
Day.
dos nossos
And
jovens, da
remembering my
nossa
own mother as
humanidade.
well, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of the União do Vegetal. And may this work of the spiritual orientation always bear good fruits, as she said, and work that is so important within the center for the present and for the future of our young people and for our Holy
Que
Irmandade.
todos tenhamos feliz Dia das Mães.
Gratidão ao senhor, mestre Almir. E grata também o mestre Marcelo
Okay,
Pinheiro, né?
and
Porque
so
ele tinha falado comigo, eu achei
Mestre
que era a
Almir
mesma coisa, depois eu vi.
saying,
O sentido é o mesmo,
may
mas
we all have
ele
a good
cedeu,
Mother's
né,
Day. And
pra
Conselheira Jandira
para
saying,
todos,
my gratitude to you,
bem compreensível.
Mestre Almir, and to Mestre
É um
Marcelo
amigo, uma
Pinheiro.
pessoa querida. E dizer para todas as mães
And
que
I
perderam seus filhos,
Messi Marcelo Pinheiro, who first
e os
spoke with me
filhos
about
que
doing this
perderam
live
suas
stream for the
mães,
8th region, and I
materialmente,
was
mas
grateful for his
continua
understanding to be able to do
vivo no
this work
coração da gente.
for all of the
Deus
regions.
dê
And to
conformação a
say for
todos.
all mothers, for
Sei
example, mothers
que
who have
de
lost your
2000 pra
children,
cá não
or
tá
for
sendo
children who have
feito
lost your
muitas
mothers
coisas,
materially,
mas tem Deus
remember that they remain
que nos
alive in our
fortalece cada
hearts,
vez mais.
and
E que a
may
gente
God bring
sempre dentro de
acceptance
nós
and
esse
understanding
amor
to all of our
da
hearts.
mãe, para
And I
nos
know
dar
that
mais
from 2000,
certeza de dias
since the
melhores,
year 2000
mais
to
segurança.
today, there's
Eu
been a lot
desejo a
of
todos
difficult
os
things,
filhos,
but
todas as
may we
mães,
all feel fortified
meus
and
filhos,
that we can feel this mother's love
o filho meu,
to have more certainty
que
that
Deus
better days are
abençoe, Nossa
coming
Senhora cubra
and have
por
more
enquanto, e todos os meus filhos do coração,
security. And I
meus
wish that all
afilhados.
of the
Eu tenho
children, all of the mothers,
327
my
afilhados,
children, my
328
own
com bala,
children,
né, meu irmão, que eles estão me
may
chamando, mas eu
God
vou ter que adotar ele como
bless,
meu
may
afilhado
the
também, né?
Virgin Mother bless
Então,
all
que
of
Deus
you
abençoe minha
and
família,
cover
meus
you
irmãos,
with her
meus
divine
primos,
mantle.
minhas cunhadas, né?
There's like 200 and over 200
Felicidade para todos.
godchildren of mine.
Deus abençoe a
May
minha
God bless
família,
all of you,
todos
all of my
vocês,
family, my
todos
brothers,
nós.
my nephews and nieces,
O meu
my
abraço para toda a União,
sisters-in-law,
lá de Manaus, lá tem povo querido
and
na Bahia,
happiness to
no
everyone.
Brasil inteiro.
God bless our families.
Guarde-se todos nós. E
My
Dia das Mães com
warm
saúde,
embrace
com
to all of
vida,
you,
que hoje quem tem saúde
people
tem
in
vida,
Manaus, in
são os mais
Bahia,
ricos desse planeta.
everyone.
Que Deus abençoe todos nós.
May God
Gratidão
safeguard all of
à
us.
equipe que trabalhou aqui, né, a
And
conselheira
happy Mother's Day.
Leide,
Health, life.
né, conselheiro
The people who
Badaró,
have
que foi
health and
criador
have
desde o
life are
começo
the
aqui da
wealthiest
associação.
people on this earth.
Toda
And those of us who
toda a
have
diretoria dessa
health and have
associação,
life,
que tem
we are
auxiliado
the
tanta
wealthiest
gente,
people on this earth.
né? O mestre Ricardo chegou
Thank
para
you.
somar, está somando legal. E o senhor, pela a
And
paciência
the
de
people who have
esperar,
helped
né?
since the very
Os meus
beginning
amigos que estão
of the
ali,
association, all
meu
the people on
vassalo
the
com sua
directorate of the
esposa,
association,
meu príncipe consorte, a minha filha, meu genro, e todos que estão aqui e que estão aí. Que Deus abençoe a todos. A minha filha que está em
and
casa
everyone's
nos assistindo, a Joyce,
patience,
o seu esposo, Pedro Andrade, mestre Pedro, e o
all the people
Pedrinho.
that are
Sejam felizes.
having their
Que Deus abençoe
patience
todos os lares,
here with us, putting on this
todas
event.
as famílias. Não deixe faltar o pão nem a
And
saúde, nem a
my
vida.
children who have also been watching here, may you all be
Beijo pra
happy.
minha mamãe,
God bless
pra minha rainha.
all of our homes
Te amo, te
and
amo,
all of
te
our
amo, te
families.
amo. Lembra? Querida.
May God give us the bread that we need and the life that we have. And a special kiss to my mother, to my queen. I love you so much. And that was it, my friends. Thank you for accompanying. We'll be putting the recording of the translation up soon on the Alto Menchi website. So anybody who wants to will be able to watch the whole thing again and have the translation available on YouTube. Thank you, everyone.